Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Midweek War! I, of course, am Mad Mike, and with me to talk about this peculiar episode of NXT is the voice of Inspire Pro Wrestling, Eamon Paton. How are you?
Mike, I feel like I've run a marathon.
You know, I feel like I've done something all night long, all night. So yeah, this episode of NXT is going to be a little different, as if you've watched NXT, you know why. If you haven't watched NXT, the fuck are you doing watching us? Watch NXT, then come back here. Pause this video, come right back after you watch it. It might take you about 50 minutes.
As a normal NXT episode should. I mean, obviously. I mean,
yeah,
there's
course.
no other reason. There was no other case.
Yeah, no, of course. All right. So, Eamon, what will be your one word this week?
My one word for this week.
And you were
exhaustion.
Right, you were right, fucker.
Yeah, I just thought that. Totally off topic, but no, exhaustion, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
Okay. My word is preempted. Preempted. Because there were a lot of matches we didn't get to see tonight. All right, Eamon, what was your good this week? All right,
if I had to,
this show was a whole match. It was just the 2 out of 3 falls match.
In fairness, we did get a William Regal promo beforehand.
This is true. But yeah, the match basically went the entire length of the show. So we're gonna try and break it down, talk about it as much as we can. We'll see where it takes us. So, Eamon, what's your good?
My good for this match for this week was how they framed this episode. With the because it wasn't just like they had this match. They're like, we're just gonna have a 50-minute match. Which, if you look at that on paper, that can be exhausting. That can be like, holy shit, I have to sit here for 50 minutes and watch these guys wrestle. But obviously, you had the William Regal promo, and then they cut to Tom Phillips and Tori Graves, and they're like, we got a great show for you tonight. Sami Zayn and Samoa Joe going to crown a number one contender. We got a number one contenders match with American Alpha taking on the Vaughn Villains. Bailey's here, Asuka's here. It's going to be a great show. The fact that they framed it and sold it as if this was going to be an actual show with other matches on it, and that these two guys just went this length of time because they couldn't beat each other and had to preempt these other matches was a very cool way of doing things.
Yeah, I had a few things in my head for the good, and that was definitely one of them. I really liked that they're like, I don't know how long this match is gonna go, but don't worry, we still have Bailey and Asuka coming up tonight. I'm like, it'd be really great if they, like, after the match, just cut to the back and Bailey's just sitting there like, so I guess we're on next week.
Like, that's kind of thing you have to, a lot of times with wrestling, where you have to try to check yourself at the, and sort of check your kayfabe to the side, I guess, so to speak.
Before you check your kayfabe to the side.
Yeah. Because sometimes we've said it before when we watch Raw, where like a main event match will start, and it's like we look at the clock and we're like, oh, they've got a certain amount of time with this, and we can kind of think in our heads what's going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
Or they started this main event really early, like this must mean something. You know what I mean? Like, but it was very smart in how they framed it, and I can understand them. It even made sense that in theory, if they were going to have a full show, that they would put Sami and Joe on first, because the idea being we have to crown a number one contender one way or the other. We're not going to let this go over TV time. So let's put it on the start, and then we'll figure things out from there.
Yeah, it took me an absurdly long time to figure out what they were doing with it, like to the point where I was like, "Oh, that's cool. The match is going on first. I guess we'll see something else from a main event." And it was just like they're going an awfully long time with this first fall. And yeah, but it was great, like just to see that kind of like, hey, don't worry, fans, we still got more stuff. But my good for the match is I love when one wrestler uses another wrestler's finisher hold.
Oh, that was my favorite spot of the match.
Mm-hmm. Sami locked in the coquina clutch on Joe, and Joe's reaction was like, "Oh my god!"
Well, the best part was they were doing a thing where the ref was counting Sami because he was coming close to not getting it by the 10 count. So he did that a couple times, and then he did it again, got to 2, and Sami just like slapped his hands on the mat, got up, like spit on the ground, like out of energy, and Joe came charging, and Sami just slipped through and locked in the clutch. And I'm like, this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and the crowd popped for it. It was such a cool spot. Yeah.
Yeah, and also there was another point where Joe, I think had I think it was the finish actually, where Joe had Sami in the clutch, and Sami was reaching out for the other one, and Joe like grapevine while holding Sami's arm in place too, so he couldn't reach. That was amazing. Like that kind of adjustment. It's better than the whole pick up the hold, drag the guy to the center of the ring, and put it back on. Yeah. That's adjustment on the fly, and that kind of stuff is why we love Samoa Joe.
And Sami had nowhere to go at that point.
Yeah.
And I think I love the finish of this match because, like I mentioned with my word, it played off of the whole exhaustion factor, and the guys were looking exhausted during the match. Like, they really kind of sold how long this match went. And I love the point at the end where Joe had him in the clutch. The ref calls for it because Sami's passed out. And Corey Graves makes a point of it, and it's a really smart like observation of the fact that like that Sami's lips were purple.
Mm-hmm.
Like I noticed that too as soon as I was like, his lips look really purple, like, which is a thing of like, holy shit, he like it's so to the severity of like he just got choked out.
Yeah, like
I think it was so smart. And
I also like that they threw in that Sami had a really exciting week.
Yeah.
Like, and it was very subtle. It was very subtle. They didn't need to do this. But the fact that they did throw in that, oh, well, Sami Zayn has had an exhausting weekend from the NXT house shows this weekend to showing up on Raw to coming here, and Joe had an extra day of rest. Maybe that'll help. And, I mean, Joe won. So.
I feel like I want to say they did this commentary in post. Like, I know that they had the commentators do the intro to the show sort of thing, but I think that they did the rest of this match in post just from a fact of this is a long fucking match.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would be smarter than to just, as opposed to them just sitting at the table, live calling this whole match, which I thought was smart, and I really like the commentary in this as well.
They could have also just re-recorded parts of it.
That's true, yeah. But it allowed them to mention stuff like Sami Zayn being on Raw and stuff like that, and the stuff that he's doing. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Were there any parts you didn't like? Did you have a bad for this match, Eamon?
My closest thing to a bad would probably be like the first 8 to 10 minutes of the match. Yeah. It's a long match, so you gotta start slow. Like, you can't just fucking go crazy for 50 minutes because that's ridiculous. So I understood it, but it took a little bit getting into the first 8 or 10 minutes, just because it was a lot of slow work and stuff like that. I think there was one part where Joe hit a massive kick or whatever on Sami, and I think that was the part where it really kicked into gear, and it started to get more hard hitting, and they started to pick things up a bit more, and from that point on, the match was really good. But again, that when you look at the time of it, it was maybe a fourth or a fifth of the match,
mm-hmm.
Which is a lot.
Once you saw that they were going to be going the distance for a show, you can forgive the slow start.
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say something similar to that end, but my bad for this week. I think I would have liked to see Sammy. I don't know, like hit the haluva kick.
That's true. I do think they're really. I think they're selling that as one of his finishes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. I love seeing that move connect, especially against Joe. Joe would have made it look great.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I don't think Sammy needed to use the Koji clutch to tap out Joe.
That's true. I think it was a
I also didn't like the fact that there was an intermission between the falls.
Well, they kind of normally. I think they normal. That's normally how they do things with 2 out of 3. Sometimes they do, but I've seen that before with Iron Man matches too. Before when they've had like in the past.
Yeah, I don't like it with Iron Man matches either. Like, I don't know. I mean, I understand it's obviously for TV time too, but actually, one of my favorite spots, and we forgot to mention it. One of my favorite spots in WWE, just all of WWE, is when there's an accidental bleeding and the match has to stop for a second, and then the guy who's busted open has to kick things up so much to get the crowd back into it.
I was gonna say because it's hard when that happens. Like because in theory it's really kind of a bad thing to do in the sense of like once like the way I've had to explain it is like once blood happens in a match, that's when things start getting interesting. So like to stop everything, like kind of kills all the momentum. But like you said, like it forces somebody like Joe to have to sort of go straight out and
yeah, because then it's like you lost the crowd because of something that happened by accident. You need to get them back right away, and you need to get them back right where they were.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Eamon, was there anything you'd change about the match?
I thought of a change, and it's a selfish change, and it's not a good change, but it's. I would have popped so huge if the third fall ended in a double pin. It would have been the ultimate fuck you.
Or a double count out. A double count or something.
Sat through 40, 45 minutes of a match just to not have a conclusive winner and just have everyone in the crowd go, for fuck's sake! And like
that would have been really good. My change, I would have put Balor on commentary. I've said this before. Finn Balor, the non-demon version, needs a bit more of a persona for me.
I understand that. I will say in contrast to that, we've mentioned, I don't know if we mentioned before, but I think it's kind of a common thing, is that Balor is not really necessarily the greatest talker. So to have him talk...
That's why. That's why to be on there and try and improve.
Yeah, but to have him talk for 50 minutes...
Yeah, I mean, or maybe bring him on for the third fall.
Yeah, I guess. But that would kind of that's another thing that would kind of like weird.
Or have him like show up afterwards and stare down Joe. I feel like Balor needs to be a part of this somehow, just so we see the end game. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't know, because and we've had Balor and Joe before too, so I think they need to do something to amp this up.
That's true.
I'm not sure what they can do, but
I trust in them because honestly the stuff they've been doing with Joe's been amazing so far and has been so reinvigorating for Samoa Joe that I trust that Joe will come up with something and develop something that will provide a little extra something to this match. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Another good I want to mention though is Joe's trash talking during the match. Just a little stuff of him, like when he would have a submission on Sami, and just telling him like it's not worth it, like just give up. There's no point in this. It's not worth it. Like stuff like that, I really loved. Like,
yeah, I mean, anytime a wrestler is taunting someone while they're kicking their opponent's ass is the best thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Owens does it all the time. You know, guys who do that know what they're doing. We also have to mention we got Baron Corbin versus Austin Aries at TakeOver.
So excited.
And we finally have an announced TakeOver.
We do.
Like, this is the first time they actually announced we're going to get TakeOver. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Like I said, I'm becoming a huge Baron Corbin fan. So,
do you think Aries is going to wrestle before then?
Technically, on TV, I don't think so.
Okay.
Technically, he has. He's actually.
Yeah, I know on house shows he has.
He's actually already worked house shows.
By the way, speaking of house shows, guess who's going to the show in Poughkeepsie?
Oh yeah,
this guy.
Guess he's 3 hours away from TakeOver and won't be going to it because prices are $200. This guy.
That guy.
I'm so sad.
It's okay, Eamon. We'll smuggle you in somehow. You can be Mojo Rawley's hype man.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. So, Eamon, where would you rank NXT this week?
Okay, this is the thing we were talking about in previous episodes of the Midweek War. I'm going to rank it number 2. I was debating on ranking this 3 or 2 because while I love the match, it is one match. Like, you don't like. It's hard. It puts you in a difficult position. For the quality of the match, I'm going to put it as number 2. But it was very close to being number 3 and switching with Ring of Honor this week.
Alrighty, I'm kind of in the same boat as Eamon. I gave Ring of Honor 2A, so I'm going to give NXT 2 this week. Basically, like, the match quality, I think, like Eamon said, if you cut out the first 10 minutes, it would have been a better match. But I love the fact that they made us keep thinking that we were going to get other stuff on this show. Because that's how you should be in wrestling. Like, you should keep thinking, well, we have this other stuff booked, and surely this match we have won't go the whole distance, but it did. And I love stuff like that. I love when my expectations get subverted like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Eamon, where can the people find you on the internet?
Find me on Twitter at Eamon2Please. You can also check out the company I work for called Inspire Pro Wrestling on Twitter at InspireProRes.
All right, and you can find me at MadMike4883 on the Twitter machine. Also, go to WrestlingMayhemShow.com. We're doing this thing on the Mayhem Show every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. It's called Mayhem Mania. This week is the Patreon in the Bank round. If you've ever wanted to contribute to the Mayhem Show to be a part of Mayhem Mania, all you need to do is donate $1, patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. You will be a part of the show. You can book anything you want within our limitations, obviously. But Rob Gronkowski's in there now. So who knows what the hell our limitations are? Peyton Manning's available. Let's book him too. Why not? We can have a Deflategate match with R-Truth. I don't know. We can do a bunch of stuff. But, yeah, so go to WrestlingMayhemShow.com. Listen to us every Tuesday night. And for Eamon Paton, I'm Mad Mike, and this has been your Midweek